What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again with another episode of THH Sports, and tonight we will be talking about the NFC West. And you saw there in our intro the infamous Hail Murray reception as part of our intro, and we're going to be doing a lot of conversation here about the NFC West. So I want to take some time to introduce our co-hosts on the panel tonight. We'll start with you, Jeremy Schuler. How are you doing today? And introduce yourselves to the people.
Hey, I'm doing outstanding, man. I'm glad to be on here. Basically, for me, I've been a Seahawks fan all my life. Followed the NFC West. I got into football around 2002, but yeah, I'm out of Washington, a little bit north of Seattle, about maybe 2.5 hours. But yeah, that's basically a little quick spiel about myself.
Nice. And joining us as well, we have Arizona Cardinals fan Steve Salvage. Steve, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing great, my friend. My name is Steve Salvage, as it says. I am the true face of the two true heels. And I have been a Cardinals fan since '86.
It's good to see you, brother.
Yeah, it's good to be seen, my friend. And been a Cardinals fan, man. So many lows, but I'm excited for the team. It feels like the Browns sometimes, but you ride or die with the guys that brought you.
That's true. That is true. And of course, we are joined by my co-hosts for the show. Romeo will be here in a moment, but before we get to Romeo,
he'll be back.
I mean, we didn't have to go that far, but all right. We are joined. We are joined by top guy JJ. JJ, how are you doing tonight?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? Crazy day, man. I wasn't sure how today was going to shape up. I'm kind of on call right now, so I'm kind of on watch with that. Different location. Favorite person is kind of not. She's incapacitated right now, so in a good way.
Gotcha. And guys, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to us on our Twitch, on our YouTube. If you are not already subscribed, please just hit the like button, subscribe, leave your comments in the chat as for what you guys think will be going on with the NFC West this season. And of course, you guys can always join us on the True Heels main channel where we have all of our wrestling shows. And Romeo, how are you doing today? And
I heard that, JJ. I heard that.
He looked so relieved. He looks so fresh, like he's ready to go.
Oh, thank you. I just did finish hosting a 2-hour watch along. I didn't get a break to use the bathroom, so here I am. What's up, everybody? Glad to have all you guys. I think we're gonna have another Cardinals fan joining us shortly.
Another one.
I got a video to play from a 49ers fan, and unfortunately, I could not find any Rams fans. They're the Super Bowl champions.
Well, I was gonna say that the fans are still having Super Bowl hangovers, so maybe that kind of.
We've been here for 2 years. I'm glad we don't got no bandwagoners.
Yeah.
What if they were coming to us live via satellite from St. Louis?
I would have took that.
This is what every St. Louis fan said. It's every St. Louis fan right now.
Yup.
Well, guys, as you know, we have the brain trust of the football side of THH Sports. We put our heads together and we determine what we think the win-loss records for the division will be. And we're going to start right off by putting that up on the screen. And Jeremy, I apologize in advance. It's not going to be pretty for the Seahawks. Across the board.
Damn.
Romeo. Across the board.
We did not even talk about this.
And myself.
We didn't talk about this at all.
We have the three of us have the Rams repeating. We have the Cardinals coming in second, then the Niners, and last but not least, the Seahawks. I want to thank you guys right off the bat, Seahawks fans, for letting me have Russell Wilson for the Broncos. I appreciate it a lot. Broncos country, let's ride. Let's ride. It's so corny.
That's Russell Wilson, baby.
That's Russell Wilson.
That's Russell Wilson, baby.
I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. So Romeo, I think we should start with the Niners video if you have it ready to go.
Give me a second. I just want to say, hold on, because I'm gonna put a poll in the chat to
Oh,
see what
yes, of
everyone
course.
thinks who wins the division. And my screen is kind of freezing a little bit right now. But I did want to mention how, if you look at our predictions right there, I think that's like the closest we've all been on the same page in any
Nope.
preview we've done.
There's
As far as those
barely
numbers,
any
we're
difference.
almost all
There's
alike.
barely any difference. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. This is a division that has a lot of competition from 3 teams and 1 team that looks like it's going to be rebuilding, whether or not the head coach thinks that or not. He's always trying to compete. Look, I like Drew Lock. I'm a Drew Lock fan, so I hope he does very, very well with the Seahawks. But I don't know about everything that's going to be going on with the rest of that team, and sometimes quarterback play, especially in a division like this, is going to be the make or break, and that's probably going to factor into things when we talk about the Niners with Trey Lance. But Romeo, how are we doing with that video by any chance?
Hold on, we just got somebody to join us. Why don't we introduce him first?
Sure. Dan, my buddy Dan, how are you doing? Arizona Cardinals fan. How you doing
Don't sound so depressed, John.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
All right, perfect.
you good, bro. What's up,
Yeah, I was
Dan?
having
How's it
some-
going, man?
Sorry, I was having some connection issues from my hotel. I think I finally got that all figured out. So
It's good to meet you, brother. You got a cool seat and everything, man. You know, gotta give you some proper love, man. It's like, oh, here, Dan is on the show.
All right, let me load this 49ers video.
Perfect.
This will be from Mike Gilbert from Fight Game Media. He is a big 49ers fan, and he serves our country. What a guy. What a guy.
What a stud.
Let me load this video.
Got to stack the
computer
deck
freezes.
against the rest of us, man.
Big time 49ers fan. We thank him for sending in this video. Boy, oh boy, this computer. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Here we go.
All
right.
Oh, perfect.
And StreamYard tells me, never mind. Okay, so I'll have some technical difficulties here. I gotta figure this out. Give me a second.
No worries.
Well, give me more than a second.
StreamYard is also like,
Well, yeah, yours also like that.
that's the theme of the night.
Well, Jeremy, I wanna kind of put you on the spot here because you are the team that as we kind of figured is going to have the most uphill battle to having anything regarding a coming close to a relevant season. So I'd like to get your base thoughts here about what you feel about the Seahawks with the offseason, the big quarterback changes, and how you feel about the team going forward.
Well, like this has been a change that's needed to happen for like at least a couple of years now. Our ceiling most of the time is basically like a first round exit, if that, for the past couple of years. Russell Wilson, just I don't know what's going on with that defense. He went through like maybe 2 or 3 different coordinators through his time there, and it seemed like it got worse and worse as his time sort of came to an end there. And last season, he kind of rushed back when he broke his finger, and he wasn't really at 100% playing, and it just made it worse. I don't know. It's just like I'm kind of glad he's gone. So it frees up Shane Waldron to allow to implement his own offense without having to cater around to Russell Wilson as much as it did. So it's like sort of freeing it up, and maybe we can see basically revamp the run game, make that more of like a focus point, sort of like how it was in 2010 and 2011, like those bridge years until we got our quarterback. So just basically get the team ready for a quarterback, and that's basically from what I've seen in the past is a recipe for success. On the defensive side, I don't really know what's going on there. We lost Bobby Wagner to the Rams, which is why I think the Rams definitely will finish first, is because they picked him up and he's such a great pickup for them. And with all that going on, I don't really know. There's a lot of miscommunication. We got a lot of young guys coming into key roles. Our great trade, Jamal Adams, that we made a couple years ago, is panning out pretty well. But not really. But his fans.
Oh, thank you for
fingers,
that
yeah.
trade. Oh, what a fleecing.
Yeah, don't get the Jets
What a
fan. Don't get the
fleece.
Jets fan started on that trade.
Yeah, Jamal Adams. I
Heavy
like his
robbery.
passion. Yeah, I like his passion. I'm glad he was on our team for a little bit, but that dude can't catch anything. I don't think he got COVID yet either. So I don't really know what's going on with him. And
Wow.
yeah, a little zinger there. But yeah, I don't really know what's going on with their defense. I think it takes maybe halfway through the season, we'll start to see how that develops. We got a new defensive coordinator in there. We're switching from like the 4-3 to a 3-4. So change up a little bit of how we're going to go about our defensive like situation. But I don't think we're going to be as bad as you guys think we're going to be. I think it's going to develop into maybe like a 6-7 win year this year. Kind of like shock a lot of people because usually Pete Carroll teams play competitive and there's a lot of competition going on in the Seahawks. And if they all buy into the system, I think that we'll definitely be a decent competitive team. We're not going to just get like steamrolled through the season. Not going to be that bad.
I do think it's kind of funny that you lose Russell Wilson. The one thing he was asking for was O-line help, and that's when you finally draft an offensive tackle in the first round.
Yeah,
there's a little bit of humor there. But speaking of the run game, Kenneth Walker is this new rookie that you guys have added, and with Chris Carson retiring, how do you feel about Kenneth Walker stepping into some big shoes, not just of Chris Carson, but of the historical kind of running backs that the Seahawks have had, especially Marshawn Lynch?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I didn't really get to see too much of him during the preseason game. He only played maybe a couple series, and then they let Travis Homer and DJ Dallas do most of the lifting.
Yeah,
and they look pretty good. They've been there for a couple years now, so they kind of got the way of the system down. But it'll be interesting to see because Kenneth Walker, his time at Michigan State, he wasn't utilized as a pass catcher as much. He was basically relied to be a running back, the running back, y'all. Type of guy to run up the middle. And so it'll be interesting to see how he's implemented in this pass, like kind of because Shane Waldron comes from the Rams coaching tree. So we're going to see how that develops going forward. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. One thing.
Do you think they both make the roster? Do you think Homer and Dallas makes it? Because with Kenneth Walker and Rashad Penny is going to be the workhorse for the first part of the year. That's a lot of running backs.
Well, past couple of years, as our running back's been getting hurt left and right, so I think we're going to go kind of running back heavy on the depth chart, just to make sure that we have some guys there that can cover or share the load when inevitably Penny goes down, because it seems he's already hurt. He already I think he strained his groin already this training camp, so we'll see how that goes.
Great final quarter of 2021.
He did,
yeah, a great quarter, great quarter.
They were saying that was contributed to Adrian Peterson being on the roster and kind of coaching him up a little bit. And I believe Seattle wanted him to come back as a running back coach or something, but I don't think that panned out. But I think that contributed to his success, and he got paid, but now we'll see if he can able to stay on the field, which I'm hoping he does, because he's a first round draft pick a few years ago. And I want to see him pan out.
Yeah. One guy who we know won't be on the field, at least for the first 6 games, unless he can appeal his suspension, is Nuke Hopkins. And Danny, I wanted to ask you, when it comes to the loss of Nuke Hopkins and now the potential loss with Marquise Brown with his issues, how do you feel about overall the Cardinals passing attack?
Well, I mean, last year we had quite a few injuries and we managed to overcome them. So I'm confident in the Cardinals that they'll be able to overcome any injuries and also any losses of players. Like we did lose Chandler Jones to the Vegas Raiders. So the Cardinals always find a way to fill in. Next man up has always been an Arizona Cardinals philosophy. At least since the Bruce Arians day, but it still applies even considering last year how many people they had injured, and still, I mean, we managed to win some blowout games without Kyler Murray. So I think that even through the adversity of losing players, I think the next man will step up for the Cards.
And I wanted to add on to that. One of the questions for a while with Kyler was kind of a lack of let's say a short pass game. He had the ability to dump off to Connors, to Edmonds, to Kenyon Drake, and so on and so forth. But doing that trade for Zach Ertz really helped out the team. And now adding Trey McBride has also done that as well. So how do you feel about having these two tight ends, particularly with adding Trey McBride, getting somebody young and early in the draft to help him have that kind of short pass game so he doesn't have to always scramble?
Oh yeah, it was a fantastic pick. And also want to go on with Zach Ertz. When we first picked him up from the Eagles last year, I was a little skeptical.
I remember that.
And yeah, he's proved me wrong. I'm definitely on the Zach Ertz train. I think he's been a fantastic addition to the Cardinals, and I think this year I'm expecting some big things out of us. So I'm excited when we get to our predictions.
And Steve, Dan brought up something about the defense there with Chandler Jones leaving. I wanted to ask you, with you guys had Tyrann Mathieu there for a while, and you've seen the rise of Budda Baker. But how do you feel about the Cardinals secondary as a whole? Because it seems to me as though cornerback is one of the pieces or positions where you guys don't have the greatest of strengths, and this is a division where there's going to be a lot of throwing.
No, that's entirely true. Our defensive back room is very thin. Marco Wilson, he's actually been kind of a surprise, especially as a rookie. Even as Romeo would say, he's not throwing shoes at nobody, so that's a plus. So otherwise than that, I think he's doing great. You got Budda Baker. You got the other safety that's back there. The key for me is going to be what they're gonna be doing with what they're calling the star backer, which is actually pretty cool. Isaiah Simmons has been back there. He's been rolling some stuff, not only coming up into the box, but he's been playing some DB. And they asked Rondell Moore, what's it like being out there? And he's like, you've never seen a guy his size, and you're running down the field, and you look over your shoulder, and he's right there next to you. And so you're adding somebody in there that, oh man, his name escapes me. He used to play for Seattle. He had to retire because of a neck injury.
Cam Chancellor?
Cam Chancellor.
Yeah.
That's what they're kind of comparing him to. Like all of a sudden, he's just this really big guy who can run with you, who can stay with you. And so I'm like, okay, let's kind of see what happens. Let's see what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be really important because you guys, the Cardinals, have some serious. I mean, the whole division has some serious games. All you guys are playing the Chiefs. All of you guys are playing the Raiders and the Broncos. So it's and the Raiders. Sorry, the Chargers. That's my
AFC
fourth
West.
AFC West team.
AFC
The whole
West.
division. Yeah, and that's going to be a crazy throwing passing attack.
Our first three games, we're going
Yeah.
Chiefs, Raiders, Rams. That's going to be tough.
Luckily, then you face the Panthers. So
Yeah.
Well, last year they faced Tennessee opening the season and shocked everyone by winning. So bold prediction: the Cardinals beat the Chiefs in Week 1.
Actually,
yeah, because Arizona knows. It's like one thing Arizona knows how to do, and this has been throughout Kyler's days, even Kurt Warner's days go back. They know how to start hot. They know how to start hot.
And that's one of my big concerns for the Cardinals this year because of that 6-game suspension for Hopkins, pulling him off of the that starting lineup, and then we don't know exactly what's going on with Marquise Brown because of his arrests and everything. That's going to be, especially because, guys, I hate to bring it up, but the Cardinals do have that history now under Cliff Kingsbury of that back half of the season.
Yep.
Some serious issues. So
And they got
starting hot
HBO.
is a must.
Yeah, and they got Hard Knocks. You're right, Jeremy. We got Hard Knocks for the first half of the season.
Oh, well, I didn't remember that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's be documented.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be some interesting fireworks there. I wanted to ask you guys, how do you feel about the Rams offseason? Since we don't have a Rams fan here to talk about the team itself, my concern for the Rams predominantly is the running back position. They're going to be having Cam Akers coming back, with that Achilles, trying to work him back in. Darrell Henderson is there, but that seems to be a position that they haven't really addressed that much. But I mean, in a sense, McVay doesn't necessarily need it. So, Jeremy, I wanted to ask you your thoughts about the Rams and how you think their offseason went.
I think the Rams offseason went pretty well after winning a Super Bowl. They picked up Allen Robinson and Bobby Wagner, and they replaced OBJ, and then
you ever heard of that Bobby Wagner guy? You ever heard of him?
Yeah, that was the one I was sad to lose. He was one of my fan favorite guys there. He was like an anchor for a defense. So the Rams are getting a solid middle linebacking presence. They get a leader, and someone that can finish and make tackles, because he's been up there with like tackles in the league for multiple seasons since he's been there. So they got an upgrade, I think, with whatever Bobby has left at the middle linebacking position. And I heard a story that Sean McVay was super excited about what he was doing down there at camp, getting all hyped and saying, "That's why we brought you here. That's why we brought you here," getting super hyped about it. So I'm expecting good things for him down there, and I'm hoping the best, rooting for him, because he's still one of my favorite players. But
you know, at least he's not going to have to get what was it, 140 tackles?
yeah,
This year, there's other guys that can do the job.
yeah, he was a force, man. I'm sad to see him go, because he's definitely gonna be missing Seattle. But all in all, I think the season went pretty well for them off season and then. But only the question I have with the Rams is their health, because you hear about Matthew Stafford does he have like tinnitus in his elbow? Then I heard that Daniel Henderson, and then was it Akers have like soft tissue issues? They're getting held out of camp this week. So it's like injuries are going to be a big thing with this team this year. And that's why I think they might fall to the second place, is probably because they're not going to stay healthy and going to lose some key guys in like middle parts of the season, causing them to lose a couple games here and there.
Yeah,
I'm going to disagree. I think the Rams will win about 13 games this year. And I think that Allen Robinson was actually a huge addition for them. I think he needed a change of scenery away from Chicago, and I think he's going to be fantastic with the Rams. I think that's the perfect fit for him.
You guys
Yeah,
want to hear some fun stats about the Rams?
Go for it.
Stafford was only the second quarterback to win a Super Bowl in a season where he led the NFL in interceptions. Can anyone guess who the other guy was?
Kurt Warner?
No.
It wasn't Brady.
Brett Favre.
No.
Favre.
Eli Manning.
Oh, wow. Okay.
2007
There you go.
Giants.
Love me
And
some
another
Eli.
fun stat. No team has won back-to-back Super Bowls since the 03-04 Patriots.
304. Yep.
Yeah, they're going to be chasing a bit of history there if they can pull that off. I mean, I'm just hoping that the trend of quarterback moving to a new city and then winning the Super Bowl continues.
Hoping never
I
Denver.
bet you are.
Yeah.
I believe the Rams will be like the Chiefs that year, a few years back, where they went back to the Super Bowl and then lost. I can see that. I think it's my prediction is going to be the Rams-Bills in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Rams have all the talent. I definitely see them, like I said, making it to like number one in division. It's just like I'm worried about their health, and usually after the Super Bowl, a lot of things unravel for some teams. I'm just looking at it like that. But
Well, I think an underrated part of it is that the amount of coaching changes that they went through. They lost a lot of people. They lost the offensive coordinator. He's now the Vikings head coach. The Broncos took the secondary coach and the passing game coordinator as the defensive coordinator. They also hired the assistant special teams coach. So they have had to bring in some people in there to really shore up this coaching staff. Now, one thing that they did do is they brought in, or they're keeping Greg Olson. He was the quarterback coach back during the McVay's first season. He's returning as a senior offensive assistant. I think he's going to provide some lift there as well. So it's just like a level of stability, because this is going to be that, I think, is one of the other kind of big issues for them. Is that usually happens with almost every Super Bowl team. You end up losing some of your staff. So how McVay can keep this staff together and unified towards one goal is going to be really important. But at least now he has that much more credentials to back it up when he's in the locker room with them, telling them why they need to do things his way. But I wanted to ask you guys
things to say about the Rams.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Should Rams fans be concerned slightly about Stafford's elbow? They've been trying to maintain his elbow. He's been having some problems, I've heard.
yeah, tinnitus or something like that. Isn't that what Pau Gasol had too back in the day?
Because boy, oh boy, that's if they lose him, you could throw everything out the window.
I think something that's kind of underrated with the Stafford thing too is he's traditionally a sidearm thrower, so the throws they don't apply so much pressure to that whole arm. Sidearm throwing is a whole lot easier than overhead. And it's just speaking from from experience and just seeing what that's like. It's so much more pressure going so hard, going so overhead like that. He's a sidearm thrower, so he might be able to make it through the season and still be extremely productive, especially with the group of guys that he has. I mean, just think about how that could play out as well, because I think tendonitis, it could be problemsome, but his throwing style is probably not going to hurt that as much.
And another point on the Rams. What were you going to say? Who was that?
No, I was just going to say that their backup, Wolford, has apparently looked really good in training camp, and they did have Bryce Perkins out there as well for the preseason game against the Chargers, and he put up a pretty good stat line. Now, granted, this is not against the starting lineup, but at least it is something promising for them if they are going to lose Stafford for the beginning part of the season.
Yeah.
The Rams are toast if they have to count on those two guys.
Yeah,
Toast.
definitely.
And this will be the Cardinals division if that happens. Another thing, he played so well for them down the stretch. Could Odell Beckham return?
I don't think
Still
so.
out there.
Do you want to deal with the injuries or the drama? It's kind of a thing right now. He's injured a lot, or he's causing drama for some way, shape, or form. I don't know. For me, I'd be like, maybe I'd pick him up if still nobody else has halfway through the season. If you got an injury or something, then hey, let's bring him back in, see what he's got. But otherwise than that, if the team gels, Go with it.
I know Odell. He's gonna go wherever whoever wants him the most, whoever coddles him, whoever's like, oh, we need you, Odell. We love you, Odell. That's Odell in a nutshell, his personality.
You're not a bitter Giants. You're not a bitter Giants fan, not at all.
I've seen plenty of Odell Beckham in my lifetime.
Watch him end up in Denver or something like that with that whole Patrick injury.
Oh, that would be crazy.
That'd be
that receiver room would be insane.
Or Buffalo.
I would like to see him come to Arizona. There were rumors about it when he was at the Phoenix Suns game, but I haven't heard anything about any talks between him and the Cardinals. So
good. I don't want him here.
I mean, but if he did show up there, Steve, you got to admit, Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell
OBJ,
Zach Ertz and Max Williams. Not a lot of people talking about him. When Max Williams was healthy before that 49ers game last year, they were putting up points. They were scoring. They were moving. They were moving that ball. And then all of a sudden, he gets the helmet to the knee. He's out for the year. And their offense stalled for a couple games until they got Ertz fully back in and up and running. But I like him. The rookie they picked up, you could be seeing 3 tight ends out on the field at once in one of their settings. That could be crazy.
That would require Kyler Murray to watch game film, though, on 3 tight end sets. And I don't know if he wants to do that there.
I bet he has Call of Duty pre-ordered right now. He's just waiting.
Yeah, that was something that was funny about that is because, it blew up nationally, and it as it should have. But when you talk to everybody in the Cardinals, even though they're like, yeah, I don't know why that thing's in there, he spends a lot of time watching film, but he doesn't obsess over it. And then Kyler had to say what he said in the national thing. It's like, oh, man, you were so close. Just keep your mouth shut. It's so good. Just keep your mouth shut.
I heard they're paying out his contract in Call of Duty points. Is that true? COD points?
Apparently, he's so good he doesn't need them, but
there's a signing bonus.
It's just kind of a funny situation because he's a guy who could easily just keep his head down, and I'm not going to make the obvious height joke, but if he did that, and he would have gotten incredibly paid in the offseason no matter what. He just had to do, and it seems as though if there's one guy who had not the worst offseason, but like kind of the most scrutiny, it's Kyler Murray. And a lot of this pressure for the Cardinals, I mean, it's already on the quarterback. It's always going to be on the quarterback. but there's so much more pressure on him now because he's going to be out without Hopkins for a while, because he could potentially be losing Hollywood Brown for a while. This team is going to be relying on him to make these throws and make these plays downfield to get them and then keep them in games if anything happens.
Yeah, unfortunately for him this offseason, I want to sit there and say, you did this to you.
Yeah.
You started the drama. You kept the drama rolling. At any point in time, you could have told your agent, shut up. Don't talk. We're going to work this out. Steve Keim has already said we're going to work it out. It'll be taken care of. Don't need to do this now. Why you do it? It just became, you did this to you, man.
Yeah, and then on top of that, what was also going to be in question with all those receivers being out potentially, even if Marquise Brown can't make it to the opener, think about that pressure that's going to be on James Conner. Like, he's somebody that's dealt with a lot of injuries himself, and now he's going to end up shouldering a much bigger load. That could put a lot of pressure on him as well, because he hasn't been a ball hog. Like, he had a shitload of touchdowns, obviously, but he hasn't been the main ball carrier since his days in Pittsburgh. So that could put a lot of pressure on him.
Well, that raises an interesting question about Benjamin versus Keontae Ingram. And Dan, I was wondering, what have you heard regarding the rookie that was drafted, the running back Keontae?
To be honest, I haven't heard anything, but go Devils. I'm rooting for Benjamin.
That's Steve, if you could, because I heard a lot of chatter about Benjamin really kind of securing that backup running back role.
Yeah, it's a good place for him. And the cool part about him getting drafted in the 7th round, you can see, okay, he's a project. He doesn't have to come out and be online first game of the season, first snap of the season. You can actually kind of work him into it. And I think Eno has really flowered under that. He's blossomed under that, where he doesn't have all that pressure. He did truck a dude last season, which was awesome, but you didn't see anything else from him. But according to the local guys here, he's flashed during training camp. He's flashed during a lot of things. And Eno might have a full spot as the 3rd guy.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've heard a lot too about his training camp results. But there's one team we really haven't talked about, and that's.
Can I mention something about the Cardinals?
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to read out the 6-game schedule that they have for the games that Hopkins going to miss. Home Kansas City, at Las Vegas, home Rams, at Carolina, home Philly, at Seattle. I have them going 3-3 in that stretch.
Yep.
What do you guys?
Same here. Yep, 3-3 for that.
I gave him 4-2.
I'm gonna say Kansas City. Like I said, bold prediction: they beat the Chiefs because they are at home. And last year we shocked the Titans. So that can go either way. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily sold on Vegas. Yeah, they improved, but I don't know. I still think we can beat the Raiders. Sorry, was the Rams a road or a home game?
Home.
It's a home.
Home.
I think
Sounds like you're going 6-0.
We're gonna split the Rams. We're gonna split. Well, I think they'll split the Rams. I don't know whether they're gonna win the home game or the away game, but I think they will split. Carolina, I think we're gonna lose. The Cardinals have struggled against the Panthers just historically, especially in Carolina. They've struggled. And the last time they played there, and I said this, and I was like, well, the Cardinals have always struggled, and that was when we should have beaten Carolina, and I can't remember who it was, but they're like, oh yeah, you're talking crazy, that's the past. Well, they ended up losing to Carolina again. So I think the Cardinals just struggle historically against Carolina, so I can see us losing to Carolina. Said Minnesota is one of them.
Philly at home and then
Philly,
at Seattle.
Philly, I think they'll beat Philly just because it is a home game. And I think they'll sweep Seattle this year. And I'm also going to disagree with Jeremy from earlier on Seattle being a 6-win team. I think at best
7-win.
At best 5 wins. At best 5.
I'm sure Jeremy's looking at you guys like they don't got Hopkins. What do I got to stare
I
at?
was looking over Seattle's
That's one of our
schedule.
wins.
I was looking over Seattle's schedule before the show, and I'm like, I'd be shocked if they even get 5 wins.
Man, just gotta believe, man. Just gotta believe.
Toy
They're gonna
Word
really
with
need the
a
12th man this
really
year. They're
important
gonna really need
question.
him.
My question or my answer to Toy, as I am in a hotel lobby right now, so I've got whatever is accessible to me.
That's definitely a supervillain chair. We're waiting
It
for
is.
you to do the whole
And,
$1 billion thing.
And I'm actually in the city of John's team. I am in Denver, Colorado right now.
There you go. Romeo, I believe you have the San Francisco video
Yes.
ready to go, because that's the one team we haven't talked about.
But that's okay. We don't need. No, we need to talk about them, I guess.
Aloha, folks. It's Mike Gilbert from Fight Game Media Network and the Brace for Impact podcast, and I want to give a shout out to my guys over at the True Heel Heat Network, both wrestling and sports. So my homie Romeo asked me to do a little bit of a preview for the NFC West, for the NFL season that's coming up this year. And, all bias aside, the 49ers are taking the NFC West. Actually, no, all bias. I'll put all the bias in there. I don't care. The 49ers got this, and I'll tell you why. Everybody's thinking that the Rams might get it again this year, but if you take a look at the statistics, oftentimes, teams don't go back-to-back NFC championships, or they don't go back to the Super Bowl the second year. The Rams, they lost Von Miller. Looks like they're not going to be able to bring OBJ back, or if they do, he might be not available until close to midseason. Maybe later in the year. Looks like the Buffalo Bills might be in on OBJ. So I don't think they're going to be the same team going forward. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. And a lot of people want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals now that they took care of Kyler Murray. Look, Kyler Murray is what he's always going to be. He's going to get off to a hot start. They might, be 10-2 after 12 games, and then they're going to trail off there at the end. People are going to figure those guys out. The Seattle Seahawks, I don't want anybody ever to mention their name to me again. They lost Russell Wilson. That was their entire team. They're done. Bye, Seattle. They're not going to do anything. The team to beat this year in the NFC West is going to be San Francisco. Hey, look, we lost Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy did a great job for a few years, but he had reached his peak. He had reached his apex, and he wasn't going to get any better than that. He was often limited, despite the fact that he was so successful with the 49ers. Took us to a Super Bowl. Took us to another NFC Championship game. You can't really hate on that. Had a great winning record there. But I think that Trey Lance is coming in. He's young. He's hungry. He's about the same as far as athletically as it goes with Kaepernick. He's probably pretty close to Kaepernick athletically. I think this guy's got a good head on his shoulders. He loves football. He loves the game. He brings an intensity that's going to be unmatched. So far, so good in practice and in the preseason. But you also got, Debo. Hey, we took care of Debo. We gave him the big contract. Took care of George Kittle last year. Joey Bosa is in a contract season, so he's going to be playing hard. He's probably going to go for the sack record this year. D'Amico Ryan's defensive coordinator. He's back for another year. I think he's going to be even better than he was last year. We got in some secondary help. Fred Warner's looking to have another big year. But the guy to look out for on the 49ers, I'm going to tell you right now, is Brandon Ayuk. He's also in a contract year. I don't think he's going to get a contract with San Francisco, but he is going to be playing his ass off this year to try to get that Debo money. He's not going to get Debo money from San Francisco. He's going to get it from somewhere else, but he's going to be playing his ass off. He has also been playing with Trey Lance a lot since last year. They practiced together. They're friends. They've been practicing together all offseason while Debo was doing his holdout thing. Ayuk and Lance are building a camaraderie there, and I think Brandon Ayuk is really going to go off this season. So the team to beat in the NFC West, it's not the Rams, it's not the Seattle Seahawks, definitely, and it's definitely not the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be San Francisco. Thanks to True Heel Heat Sports and True Heel Heat Wrestling, and thanks to my homie Romeo. You guys have fun, and catch us on Brace for Impact on the Fight Game Media Network every Thursday. Peace out.
Man, I hate Niner
What a
fans,
video.
man.
That's a bold claim.
Very,
for Trey Lance.
very bold prediction. Nothing I've seen from Trey Lance has given me any confidence that he can lead the 49ers to victory. I think actually the only way I think the 49ers can pull off about 11 or 12 wins, but I think it is dependent on Garoppolo staying there and being their quarterback. I think if Garoppolo's gone, I can see things going pretty downhill for the 49ers this year.
You know what was very telling? I took down the notes of what he said, where he said Lance is young, hungry, loves the game. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. Can he play good?
I was
That's
about to
what
say,
we
none of
want.
that
Can he play good?
None of that
That's the wild
Hungry,
card.
loves the game.
Nah, there's okay. Brandon Ayuk, ASU dude, very happy that he's out here. Dude is freakishly. His wingspan is just crazy. He's got super long arms, which is great because Trey Lance is going to throw it over his head so many times this season that he's going to need those long arms to try and catch it.
I think Trey Lance.
First, listen, man. Thank you, Gilbert, for your service.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
country. Thank you for that. But that doesn't leave the Niners bias out of him. You know, that's just it. The Niners are the team to beat. That's stretching is not the word. Yes, Bosa is going to be a monster. He's going to be. But how dare any Niners fan say that Trey fucking Lance is going to dominate this division with those other quarterbacks in there, and he hasn't proven a fucking thing other than he can run the ball from the pocket. Like, come on. Like, that's just like literally saying, oh shit, yo, Ryan Tannehill is about to throw for 5,000 yards and he's going to the Super Bowl hard body, hands down. Like, come on. Reaching is real, but this is a bit delusional.
Yeah, I'm going to say Garoppolo starts. I'll give San Francisco second place. If Trey Lance starts third place, and that's only because I think Seattle's just going to be that bad this year.
I don't know. I think Trey Lance might have like a different like aspect to bring to the San Francisco because with Jimmy G, he's mostly like a stationary quarterback. Trey Lance brings that mobility at the quarterback position, which will like definitely like change up the game for the 49ers because they're definitely a run heavy team. They're pretty physical, all that type of good stuff I like to see in football. So I'm not really sure. I'm kind of high on the Niners. I have them maybe finishing second because I think the Cardinals are going to fizzle out because I'm just like going off trends. I think they're possibly the Cardinals go like 9-10 wins and 49ers goes up to maybe 11 around there.
I've been hearing some good things about Elijah Mitchell in camp.
Yeah, me too.
Him coming back and him really being able to lead that running back room. And if there's one thing that Kyle Shanahan loves, it's having more running backs than like wide receivers or anything on his roster. So it's that the. To me, that question is really going to be Trey Lance. That it's coming down to him because he's going to be, I mean, as relatively inexperienced as Drew Lock is, there's Trey Lance's lack of experience is even higher. This is a guy who's only started 2 games and played total in 6. So there's a lot. I mean, we talked earlier about the pressure on Kyler Murray. There's a lot of pressure on Trey Lance because if he can't get the job done, or at least look as though with some development he can get the job done, he is risking the jobs of Kyle Shanahan and a lot of that coaching staff, as well as potentially even John Lynch, the general manager. So that's going to be that the Niners watch is for real. But I guess Gilbert has the same, zero fear as George Kittle and Pentagon out there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's that's crazy.
Yeah, and not every North Dakota State quarterback can be Carson Wentz. So,
well, I mean, it would be kind of an interesting scenario if Jimmy Garoppolo tries to play a Nick Foles role.
I think Jimmy's getting traded before week 1. I just you never know with these injuries in the preseason. Some team may lose out. One team did get someone injured. We'll talk about it later, but he should be on the comeback trail now.
Well, the only issue there is that behind them they have Nate Sudfeld and Brock Purdy, who is a rookie himself. So, yeesh, that's not going to be the greatest.
It's Trey Lance is getting the keys to the castle.
Yeah,
and he's got weapons. He's got Kittle. He's got Debo. He's got running game.
Ayukin.
Yep. Well, I think the 49ers have pretty much said, hey, Jimmy, thank you. Get out. So they don't want him there. I think they've made that abundantly clear. I don't know why they haven't traded him. I guess nobody needs him that badly. But man, that defense is going to be tough. They're stacked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeremy, I wanted to ask you a question. We talked about a lot about the Seattle offense and how it's going to look a lot different now with Russell gone and seeing what Drew Lock can do. But how do you feel about the defense? We did talk a little bit about Bobby Wagner leaving, but overall, how do you feel about your ability to generate pass rush? Because when you're going up against the Rams 2 times a year, you're going up against the Cardinals 2 times a year. Pass rush is something that a team definitely needs.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure how it's going to go. We've been trying to revamp that pass rush for like the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to wait and see. I have no idea because we lost, Carlos Dunlap was supposed to be our savior on the edge, and he's in Kansas City now. We picked up like Jordan Brooks is pretty fast on the edge, and he's one of our, because we're switching to that 3-4.
Right.
So we'll kind of see how that kind of contains like Kyler Murray and all those other fast little guys that we go up against. But I'm not really sure. From what I saw, like a little bit of the preseason game, there's a lot of young guys out there in key roles, and we just got to see how the leaders come back in. If Jamal Adams can play healthy or stay healthy most of the year, that'll be kind of beneficial. Diggs is coming off that broken leg that he suffered against the Cardinals at the end of the season last year. So we're going to try to see how like the new leadership on the defensive side with this new defensive coordinator kind of handles it. So my answer is I have no idea how it's going to look. We're going to have to wait and see, man.
Can Jamal Adams get a sack? All that he wanted to get paid all that money. He had 9.5 sacks in 2020. 0 last year. 0.
Yeah, I was starting to lose my love for that man. Dude, there was a play last year versus Pittsburgh where he had right in his hands, interception goes right through his hands, hits him right in the face, bounces off his face mask. In a key moment in the game. And I was like, man, this is going to be a bad couple of years with this guy. We paid this guy so much money. We traded away our future.
Fleeced.
For what?
That's kind of the story of the Jamal Adams trade in a nutshell. But don't worry, you've got like 2 years of Bronco first and second round picks, so you'll be fine on a rebuild.
Yeah, I hope, but don't get me wrong, I still love Jamal Adams. I love his passion for the game, but like sometimes it's just like, man, why would we do that?
Wasn't he the guy on, was it Thursday Night Football or Monday Night Football? Maybe Sunday night. I don't know. Where they went to him and he just started yelling, "The best! The best!" And I'm like, oh, my God. Oh man, it's Santana and Ortiz. Are you guys here?
What was I going to say? Has it been confirmed who's starting for the Seahawks at quarterback?
Drew Lock just got COVID. So he's not going to be able to play this preseason game. So it's going to be Geno again. And then we got, what's his name? That UW quarterback. Yeah. We got him as a backup.
But Pete Carroll has not named.
No, it's good old competition down here in Seattle.
Well, John, me and you can both speak to Geno Smith and Drew Lock. And I don't think we have anything good to say about either one.
I didn't see nothing.
I'm a Drew Lock fan. I don't think that he always got the best opportunity in Denver with just the way of COVID, coaching changes year after year after year. This is really his chance to show that he is a good quarterback, and that, I mean, if he can't beat out Geno Smith, then maybe he's not cut out to be an NFL quarterback, and that's going to be, for me, like, I mean, it's a make or break kind of situation for him. And he does have the people to throw to if he does make it as the starting quarterback. He's got DK Metcalf, he's got Tyler Lockett, and he's got his old trusty pal Noah Fant there at tight end. So he's got the keys to success here. And if there's anybody who can help get somebody over some bad mental issues, it's Pete Carroll and his boundless positivity. So I'm giving Drew Lock the best of chance if he can pull it off, but he's got to beat out Geno Smith, which apparently is a little bit of a tough task for him.
Yeah, but he did look good. He had I like the way he moves back in the pocket. He's kind of like more athletic than I thought he was. He has a lot of potential, I could see, but I just see him overthrowing a few throws here and there, so I don't really know how to think about him. I just know that he can sing lyrics to Young Jeezy songs, so I think
sometimes
that's a plus. Yeah, you got the job.
Yeah, I remember last year when the conversation in Denver was whether it was going to be Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock as the starting quarterback. The consensus was if it was Drew, then you wanted to see what was going to happen with Cortland Sutton, and because he is more of a slinger, gunslinger kind of mentality, and Cortland Sutton's that outside receiver. And if it was Teddy, the focus was going to be more on Jerry Jeudy because he's more of the route runner, and that was more. Teddy had more of that accuracy as opposed to the arm. So it might work out when you have two receivers like Lockett and like Metcalf who can not just have the speed but also can make the catches, particularly DK with his ability to chase down chase down people.
He's a beast.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing he got his money before we see his stats drop off this year.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
But who's going to do the moonshots this year?
Oh, but Steve, I wanted to ask you, with the big contract that they have given Kyler, there is an issue or a concern in my eyes that 4 out of 5 of your starting O-line people are going to be free agents this offseason, and they need to get paid or they're going to be walking. And the question for a long time has been the ability to protect Kyler Murray and try to help keep him in the pocket, because design runs are fine, but you don't necessarily want your quarterback to be scrambling for his life all the time. So my question to you is, how do you feel about your offensive line in general? And also, how do you feel about their ability to retain people considering the contract that they gave Kyler?
Well, they just, let me see, left tackle, right tackle, left tackle, I think they just signed him. Humphreys.
Yeah.
They just re-signed him. Hudson, the center, scared us this offseason. He just no-showed, and they thought he was going to retire. And he was the big pickup last year. He was the linchpin. So it's going to be difficult. A lot of times, well, Justin Pugh is he's good. He is a solid guard. Depending on how everybody else is going to be going, Swiss cheese is kind of something that I think about when I think about our O-line sometimes. Humphreys came back that game against Seattle last year. He came back way too early from his COVID, and unfortunately, the guy who ran him over 4 times for sacks is now going to be on the Chiefs this year, and it's going to happen again. And Jeremy's probably smiling about that one from last year. Good way to really, rub the salt in the wound for that one. But I'm hoping that they can do something. But man, O-line is tough to get. Well, you can just have interchangeable parts, but having a decent O-line is always going to be tough to get.
Yeah, in this division,
StatKing just can't
the
let
Rams line, the Niners line.
With that quarter, with that contract, he can't even let him get through this year. Can't even let him get through this year. We got
look. That was our very first episode, and all I was saying was that he has not proven himself to be justifying the length and the amount of money. That's it. That's all I was trying to say. I was definitely saying re-sign him, but I don't know if he was justifying that because of issues like this.
Market, sir. It's the market.
But Romeo, did you have a question?
Well, I was just mentioning how the O-line for the Cardinals is going to be important, because look at this division, look at the Rams, look at the Niners, the Seahawks. Like, they're coming. So that's going to be a thing to keep your eye on.
And that's where I wanted to turn to you, Dan. I wanted to ask you a question here. We have talked a lot, or made light of the Cardinals and their history now of collapsing in the second half of the season. I wanted to ask you your thoughts on Cliff Kingsbury overall and how you feel about the season kind of being not necessarily a make it or break it for him, to say that he's got to get all the way to a Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. But what do you think are how do you think the Cardinals need to react if this collapse kind of happens again? And how short do you think the leash is for Cliff?
I think it needed to go last year, to be honest. But I think a 5-year extension for both him and Kime was just ridiculous.
Dan, you do have a
So-
history of wanting to fire your head coaches, don't you?
I can't help it that my teams always happen to have just bad coaches in front offices, and it's not just in football either. Yeah, I think if barring a deep run in the playoffs this year, I don't know if he's going to stick around, especially if they do collapse in the second half again. And if you look historically, Cliff has done this since he was coaching at Texas Tech. This isn't just an Arizona Cardinals thing. This is something that has followed him since he was a college coach. Is collapsing in the second half. I guess he just gets complacent and it just falls apart. I don't think they should have brought him back for this year. I mean, the Chargers fired Marty Schottenheimer after reaching the AFC Championship. So just because you make the playoffs doesn't mean you should keep your coach. So yeah, I think this is a make or break year for him, but who knows? They might still keep him anyways, especially after extending him. So I was not a fan of that extension, and I haven't been a fan of Cliff. I wasn't even a fan of the hire in the first place. I think he was great at developing some of the players. I just don't think he's a win now coach. I don't think he's the guy.
Well, I mean, I'll shoot
idiots for doing that, by the way. Just saying.
I mean, I'll shoot a little bit of bail for Marty Schottenheimer and that decision. It was he had some issues with ownership. It was really he had some personal kind of beef with ownership that really caused, I think, that firing. I think they would have liked to have kept him otherwise. Chasing White got attacked by
Rest in peace, by the way. Rest in peace, Marty.
It's true. I want to ask you guys your thoughts when it comes to the Rams and the passing attack, not from the perspective of Stafford, but from the perspective of the receivers, particularly Cooper Kupp. Now, last year he had that incredible season and that incredible performance throughout the postseason and particularly in the Super Bowl after OBJ got injured. But I don't know if he's going to be able to repeat that kind of production. It's really hard to do. I mean, I know Romeo's going to tell me that Jamar Chase is going to get 1,500 yards this season, but I knew I could count on you for that. But I wanted to ask you guys, Jeremy, how do you feel with because we were talking earlier about the defense for the Seahawks for dealing with this high-powered offense of the Rams and particularly a guy like Cooper Kupp?
I don't know. Basically, they're going to have Allen Robinson, which could be a good addition, but they're going to have all eyes going to be on Cooper Kupp, and he's going to probably play in that slot, allowing the other guys to go one-on-one on the edges. And then they got a pretty good tight end. I think it's Higbee. Is that their tight end?
I think he's still with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got him and a few other guys that might show up too. Because the thing about the Rams is that you can plug and play like a few receivers here and there, and next thing you know, there could be stars in that system as well. And Sean McVay is a great offensive mind, and I bet he can come up with ways to make Cooper Kupp draw the attention while allowing the other guys on the outside to eat. So I think it's going to be a very dangerous passing attack if everything goes according to plan.
Steve, what about you?
It always amazed me with Cooper Kupp how open he got all the time. And I would just figure, I know that there's so many different players on the field and everybody's running around, but how do you let that guy get wide open all the time? You know where he's going to go. If he's not going long, he's going to the first down marker and he's going to sit there. He just kind of moves back and forth. And next thing you know, Cooper's wide open. How did he get the ball? And it's just like, okay, I know we always, especially if you're going against mobile quarterbacks, you always have somebody who's there to spy on the quarterback, making sure the quarterback doesn't run. Put a spy on Cooper Kupp. Just try and keep him under 100, 7 or 8 catches a game and under 100 yards. Maybe you might win, but I don't know. Again, the coaches get paid a whole lot more money than I do sitting back armchair quarterbacking it. But I've always sat there and wondered how does a guy like that get that open all the time?
Yeah. I wanted to ask because I think we're ready to go around the horn and ask you guys what you guys are predicting for the season win-loss record. Do my fellow co-hosts have any further questions for our esteemed Seahawks and Cardinals panel?
I just wanted to say that listen, I know the Rams won the Super Bowl, but it was almost like a perfect storm. Like they got a little bit lucky because they tried so hard to choke that game away against the Bucs. I don't know how they won that game. They ended up winning it at the end. And then in the Super Bowl, Aaron Donald, he won that single-handedly. Like if that Bengals O-line was the O-line from this year, maybe Burrow had Jamar Chase for a touchdown, and they probably win that. But I don't think the Rams can. I don't think they're going back to back. I don't think it's happening. I think they're gonna fall a little short. They'll win the division, but I don't think so. Not this year.
JJ, do you have anything else?
I think I just want to ask just real quick for Seahawks people that don't know. A lot of people don't know Seahawks football. So if there's a person that you want people to look out for, that could be somebody that turned your team into that extra few wins that you probably predicting them 6, 7, potentially 8 wins. Who could be the game changer on that team that nobody really knows about?
That's a good question. I'm gonna say it's gonna be how Jordan Brooks plays. He's taken over the reins from Bobby Wagner, and he's a quick guy on the outside. He's gonna basically be our number one defender on the linebacking core, and the team basically gonna follow his lead. And I expect him to take a big step this year. I think this is like his 3rd year in the league, so we'll see how things go. But that's a guy I'm gonna be watching out for on the defensive side as we establish our defensive identity this year as a physical ass defense.
All right. So last week we somebody had I forget who it was, had a really cool idea, and so I kind of want to keep this going now. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to ask each of you name one player from another team that you wish was on your team. Now, last week we did a situation where if somebody was picked, somebody else could not pick that person. So I feel like the obvious person is going to go very, very quickly. But Jeremy, we'll start with you.
Does it have to be in division or any
in division? In
division. Oh, Jalen Ramsey.
That's not who I thought it was going to be, but all right.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey. It's a good choice. It's a good choice.
Yeah, everyone's gonna say Aaron Donald, but I was gonna say something different because I was thinking about our needs right now. I think if we had a solid ass corner, I think we'd be in a lot better position than we are now.
Yeah, especially going up against people like Cooper Kupp, Hopkins, Marquise Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, how about you?
Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice choice. He is starting to get. He's 30. He's starting to reach that age for receivers where they're going to start slowing down. And
it's all about their route running, man.
Yeah.
At that route running, he would run those routes and he would catch. And how many touchdowns did he have last year? I mean, yeah, I'll take Tyler Lockett.
Danny, that leaves you with a layup choice if you want to go with it. But who is one player in division that you would take to add to the Cardinals?
Well, that is a tough question. Well, I mean, right now we do need a wide receiver, so I guess I'll have to go with. At least right now with 2 of them being suspended. So I'll go with what Steve said, and I'll go with Tyler Lockett.
All right. So
or I would take Allen Robinson from the Rams.
So neither of you really like DK Metcalf as much.
Or Kupp.
Or Kupp, yeah, or Cooper Kupp.
Debo Samuel.
I didn't want to go for those obvious answers, but
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. There's a lot of star power in this team, and that's why I think it will be low key kind of an interesting and fun division to watch. So let's also go around the horn now and see if you guys did do individual win-loss predictions. That's fine. If you just have who wins the division or the order, that's fine as well.
We can't have nobody StatKing. We can't have.
Oh sure. I mean yeah. Oh yeah. We can do it too.
Jared, us again.
JJ, who would you like to add to the Titans?
Give me one dude that would change our entire defense and make us a number 1 defense. Give us Nick Bosa.
Mm.
Listen, I can't be mad at that. It's a fellow St. Thomas Aquinas guy, so can't be mad at that. Romeo, who would you add to the Bengals or the Jets
Or the Giants.
or the Giants
No.
or the Saints? Because technically
Jets,
you also have
the Jets are my team. The Jets are my team, and I would take Matt Stafford right now.
Oh,
no faith in the knee surgery on Zach Wilson.
What if he gets hurt again?
My answer would either be Bobby Wagner, but I'm probably going to go with George Kittle as opposed to Wagner. I think the defense for the Broncos will be doing all right. I know linebackers where they really need help, but losing Noah Fant, I think George Kittle would be absolutely perfect for a guy like Russell Wilson. So yes, now we will go around. Jeremy, we'll start with you. If you have a full breakdown win-loss, cool. If you just have like an order of how you think the division is going to shake out, that's perfect too.
I don't have a full breakdown. I just have an idea in my head how I sort of see it going down. I think it's going to be no surprise. I think the Rams are going to come back and they're going to do what they do, and they're going to take the number one spot. I think the 49ers, I'm pretty high on them. It's not to hate on the Cardinals, but it's like the 49ers, I just feel like they are more in a better situation as a team as a whole than the Cardinals at the moment, with like the whole the suspensions and everything that's going on with like the drama down there in Arizona. I think that is going to help basically make the 49ers come in second. And I really like their physical defense, then their physical offense and the run first type of vibe down there. Cardinals, they have the HBO distraction in season. And with everything that's going on down there, I think that's going to be a factor with them, kind of like a lot of in-house type of stuff. And I think they're going to finish about third. And then Seattle's bringing up the rear, trying to figure it out, doing what we do. Maybe we'll get a quarterback for the future after this year. That's how I sort of see it.
Tank.
Danny, how about you?
I'm going to go with the Rams on top of the division, and I'm gonna give them about 13 wins. Like I said, with the 49ers, it really depends on whether Garoppolo's starting or if it's gonna be Trey Lance. If it's Garoppolo, I'm gonna say 11 or 12 wins. If it's Lance, and all bets are off. For the Cardinals, I'm going to say about 10 or 11 wins. And a low-end wild card team. And then for Seattle, I'm going to give them about 3 to 5 wins. 5 being the most.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't be shocked if they went even less than 3. But since they're playing teams like Atlanta and Carolina, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll give Seattle 3 wins. And like I said, my Super Bowl prediction is Buffalo versus LA. As much as I'd hate to see the Rams back in the Super Bowl. But I do have the Bills beating the Rams. I know we're not talking about the AFC South. I'm not sure if I'm confident in Todd Bowles as a head coach. He's done it before, and he didn't do very good at it before. I think he was a great coordinator, but sometimes the best coordinators don't make the best coaches. So all these people are taking Tampa to win, to go to the Super Bowl or to win the NFC. No, until Todd Bowles can prove he can lead a team as a head coach, I'm gonna say the Rams win the NFC this year.
Matt Stafford retired Tom Brady once. To quote Josh, he very well may do it again. But Steve, how about you? What's your predictions for the season?
Rams are going to take the division. I don't really see anything barring a massive injury for them not to. I think that I'm really kind of back and forth between the Cardinals and the Niners coming in second. I think both of them could easily go 10-7 or 9-8. Both of them could do that. I think pretty much easy. And I have never been a big Seattle fan, but I'm still thinking Pete Carroll's Pete Carroll, and he's going to chew that gum, and somebody's going to catch on fire for something. I think they're going to have 5 to 6 wins, 7. But I think that they might surprise some people. If Drew Luck can really get going with DK Metcalf, look out, that could be something. But Yeah, I don't see anybody catching the Rams right now. I wish I had something else better to say, but I don't see anybody catching the Rams.
Gotcha. Well, we want to thank the three of you guys for appearing tonight on this panel to talk about the NFC West. I know that people got places to go and things to do, so we are going to cover a little bit of news after this. But Romeo, did you have?
Yeah, let me tell you how everyone in the chat.
Oh, yes, of course. I always forget that.
And please thumbs up this video if you haven't already. Who wins the division? 59% voted the Rams, 35% voted the Niners, 6% voted the Seahawks. Nobody voted for the Cardinals.
Damn.
Yeah, those are
Seahawks
just
got more love than the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Seahawks
those are
fans,
just
stand
Seahawks
up.
fans. Seahawks fans. They're delusional.
Yeah.
That might be a whole lot of East Coasters voting on there, but yeah.
Drew Lock is about to get Kyler Murray released.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man. Oh,
Kurt
man.
Warner-esque.
That would be horrible. Oh,
And
man.
I did subscribe to the channel today, just so you know. And I don't really subscribe to very many YouTube channels, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank
That
you,
is a
sir.
reminder.
Appreciate
That is
that.
a reminder to all of you guys watching to please subscribe to this channel.
Oh my
If you
God,
have
I'm letting
not
y'all know if
already.
the fucking Seahawks outbeat the Cardinals in any place in this division, we will never hear the end of StatKing's rants when it comes to Kyler
Nope.
Murray and his contract.
Oh,
Hey,
if they do that, everybody on the Arizona Cardinals is getting fired.
it's
Damn.
yeah. I didn't like how he did it. He got paid. Now you better prove it. But whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to thank the three of you guys for appearing on this panel. If you do need to run, no hard feelings. We have a little bit of news that we're going to cover. But before that, if anybody has anything they would like to plug or follow on social media, feel free. Jeremy, we will start with you.
I ain't got nothing, man. I'm just happy to be here. Appreciate the opportunity, bro.
Yeah.
Steve, what about you?
Yeah, nothing really cool. I'm not cool enough to follow on any social media, so it works. Just like, share, and subscribe, guys. Support some true heels here.
Appreciate it. And Dan, how about you?
I was going to plug something non-football related, but that was all.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we'll move to our news section of the broadcast, and that's where we will be talking, of course. Poor Romeo, so worried. But there's not really that much to worry about because Zach Wilson, he injured his knee in a preseason game. Was preseason or practice?
Preseason game.
Preseason game. But he had the arthroscopic surgery performed on his knee, and it looks as though the timetable for his return is not going to be as bad as previously thought. He should be able to return early on in the season. Romeo, on a scale of 1 to 10, like on a P scale rating, how worried are you about Zach Wilson this season?
I'm relieved now. If you ask me Friday night when the injury happened, it was doomsday. Doomsday. First of all, the first drive, he throws an interception. Oh, great. Off to a fantastic start. Then the second drive, that's when he gets hurt. Scrambling. Like, there's got to be something where you tell these quarterbacks, please don't scramble in a preseason game. I don't care if it's about an instinct or anything. Go down, take the penalty, throw it out of bounds. I don't need to see you scrambling in a preseason game. I'm sorry. I know it's natural instinct, but and that's going to be a big part of his game, the scramble factor when plays break down. But we had these Twitter doctors on Twitter saying, "Oh, that looks like a torn ACL," and that's what everyone was fearing. That's all Jets fans were fearing. But the good news that the ACL was intact, the PCL is fine, and then they were talking about when you go in for the scoping, you could find more stuff, and it could be more serious. It could be more serious than the 2 to 4 weeks initial prognosis. But thankfully, it's just 2 to 4 weeks. It's confirmed that he is going to miss week 1. It'll be Joe Flacco in his revenge game against the Ravens. And I just hope the Jets take their time with this kid. There's no need to rush him. Make sure he is 100% before you send him out there, because if you just send him out there and he's less than 100%, he's not able to play his game. He's gonna get hurt, and it's gonna be more serious. And we don't have the patience to have him out for the season where we don't know what he is. Still, again, when we've improved the offense so much that now's the time to see what Zach Wilson is. So wait until he's 100% before you give him the clear. I don't care if it's week 4 and the Jets are 0-4 or something like that, or week 3 or whatever. Just wait. Let him be 100%. That's what I want most. But this went from really doom and gloom to hopeful. So I can't be too mad at this point.
I mean, the first 4 games for the Jets are a little bad. You have the Ravens, then at Browns, then Bengals, and Steelers. So the entire AFC North.
Isn't that crazy? The entire AFC North is over the 4 games. Isn't that crazy? I was looking at that Browns game like, oh, that's a win. No Deshaun Watson now.
Yeah.
Now it looks like a little L.
And just think about also just speaking from very, very, very personal experience.
Oh yes.
Thank goodness his meniscus tear, because it was found to be a meniscus, that it was a very minor one. So at least they were just literally able to just go and put it right back where it belongs. Thank God it wasn't a full tear.
Yeah.
But they need to take their time, as Romeo said, with this, because the hard thing about this meniscal tear is the lateral movement from side to side. Straightforward is going to be literally probably in a week or 2, but going back and forth, that's the bitch, especially when you got to do stuff on instinct, when you got to cut, when you got to run, when you got to scramble. You got to be able to trust that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun seeing those 4 games with Joe Flacco. It's in a way, it's almost as though the NFL planned this. Not to say that they did or didn't, but like Joe Flacco playing against all 4 former teams.
Well, it's not confirmed 4 games he's out. It's 2 to 4 weeks. They're still.
But that's what I'm saying. If you want to hold him out like the max that you can to make sure that he's 100%, then yeah, it'll be Flacco.
Yeah, like 2 to 4 weeks would like line him up to return either week 2 or week 3.
I've only got one.
4 week. 4 week is more likely, just to make sure he's healthy.
I've got 4 words. 4 words for Joe Flacco: hot tub time machine.
Yeah, because if you think about it, he's in a good position because he knows those teams in some way, shape, or form. He has experience against them. It's different coaching staffs for the most part, except for Harbaugh and Tomlin. But like, he knows how those teams really operate, how they think, and it's kind of a good position in a way for the Jets to be in. You don't have to worry about not being as competitive as you would be otherwise. The other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about were some of the preseason games. There were 3 games that, to me, I wanted to ask you guys about or just talk about. And the first, we'll start with the big one for this show, is the Titans versus the Ravens. And I just wanted to ask you, JJ, how did you feel if you whether you got a chance to watch, see highlights, whatever the case may be? How did you feel about Malik Willis?
First of all, Malik Willis looks like he still needs a ton of time. Yeah. Like he looked okay. Like I mean, people was bigging it up. Like we were just talking about on the last week. They showed him on every single NFL clip, every single little thing he did to try to scare Ryan Tannehill to death. The thing that worried me the most is our second string defense. Like that it's kind of like if any of the starters like really takes hits, I'm very nervous about that back end secondary, because we were giving up plays like there was no tomorrow. Like it literally looked like flag football. And that was more scary than seeing glimpses of what Malik Willis can do. I was more focused on what the defense can do. And the defense really looked rough. I'm a little worried about that. The starters I'm okay with, but it's that back end where I'm like, if these guys, they need to stay healthy, because it looked a little scary what that back end looked like.
Yeah, that's going to be a question for them, because we talked when we had our preview for that division. One of the things that you were touting was the Titans, all those starting pieces on defense, and if some of them go down, it can be a little concerning if the backups aren't looking up to snuff. I wanted to ask you guys about another rookie quarterback who was playing, and that was Desmond Ridder with the Falcons. They beat the Lions in the preseason game, and Ridder looked all right, but one of the big takeaways was Drake London getting his injury, and it doesn't look like it's that bad. But I wanted to ask you guys with if any of you guys caught the game. I caught like just a little bit of highlights here and there, and Ridder looked all right to me. But if any of you had any thoughts on Ridder and also the Drake London injury and the time it takes to build chemistry, if any of you guys saw the game.
I did not see the game, but do you have news on what this injury is, how long it is for London?
Yeah, so it's supposed he left early suffering a knee injury. He probably not practicing this week as they prepare for the next game, which is going to be up against the Jets, but they haven't really confirmed anything. It's really up in the air about what exactly his injury is. As far as I saw yesterday. Well, I mean, Atlanta has they're going to be trotting out Marcus Mariota there, so I mean,
aren't you supposed to report these news, the injury reports?
Like, seriously, like no matter what their quarterback position is for this season, that team is still going to be hot dog shit.
Yeah, I don't expect to see if Ritter's playing in towards the end of the season, then that means the Falcons are down bad, big time bad.
Yeah. And finally, the last preseason game that I wanted to talk about, we touched on the division generally earlier with the Niners, but it was the Packers versus the Niners. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this one up is because Dan does have two teams, and the second is the Chicago Bears. So I wanted to ask you, we saw Jordan Love in this preseason game, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. How do you, from everything you've seen and heard about Jordan Love, does it look as though when Aaron Rodgers does decide to leave, like he is going to be anything near the guy, or are they going to be shopping around for somebody new?
He's a bust. Absolute bust.
That's kind of what it looks like.
The Packers, the Packers will have to either bring in another veteran or they're going to have to draft somebody really good. But with the way the Packers end up in the draft, I don't know if they're really going to get a very good quarterback unless they're trading up. So it might be a situation where they have to bring in, a veteran, like the Broncos did with Manning, or something of the sort. I don't. If Rodgers leaves Green Bay, I think a lot of Bears fans are going to be very happy about that because I think the Packers are going to be in the purgatory.
JJ, did you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna holy hell, I'm a little. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a little tongue twisted with that because
damn,
they could have drafted a receiver.
Jordan Love would have petrified me if I was watching him as a fan of a team. When was the last time you have ever seen a quarterback in the preseason throw 3 interceptions? In the preseason.
Well, I'm sure Zach Wilson was on his way till he got hurt. He already threw 1.
But 3? We took 3 in the preseason. This is against backups. That's scary.
Just as a reminder, when the Packers picked Jordan Love,
I know where he's going with this.
Brandon Ayuk was available. T. Higgins was available. Michael Pittman was available. Chase Claypool. There was they just missed out on Justin Jefferson, but man, there was a lot of talent there that they could have drafted to pick to pit with Aaron Rodgers. So this Jordan Love pick is going to be haunting. Seems like it could be haunting the Packers for a very, very long time.
You gotta help out your quarterback there.
I will say this though, Jordan Love, there was a lot of high optimism around him before the draft. So, unfortunately, the draft is a crapshoot. So, You know, there's been some quarterbacks. You know, look at Tom Brady is a great example. Drafted in the 6th round, the greatest of all time. So I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily blame the Packers, you know, for drafting a guy that had hype around him, but it looks bad when you got the names that you said, you know, like T. Higgins, and Ayuk in front of him, or ahead of him at least. And
actually, while we're here, because the next division on Thursday that we'll be talking about is the NFC North. Dan, I wanted to ask your thoughts preseason wise on Justin Fields, if you saw anything about him or if you saw anything from the game.
I actually haven't watched any preseason. I actually missed the last Arizona Cardinals game because I was at a White Sox game that night. So yeah, I've been unable to watch any preseason so far this year. I mean, you already know I'm not very high in Justin Fields. I just don't think things are going to work out for him. I think the Bears are going to be bad for a very long time. It's going to be a long time before they're good again. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, that'll be a fun, especially because they could be the Arlington Heights Bears sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And for some reason saying he was a project he just didn't develop. They did the right things to prepare him. He just don't got it. I think he's referring to Jordan Love.
Yeah.
It's, man, that's going to be crazy to have gone from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to potentially Jordan Love. And still only have 2 Super Bowls to show for it all.
Something I will say about the Bears, it'll be interesting if Trubisky does end up leading the Steelers to the playoffs and possibly even deeper in the playoffs. You know what Chicago fans are going to think now, because a lot of them drove them out of town. So it'll be really interesting if Trubisky takes another team to the playoffs.
But that is our tease for Thursday, where we will be talking about the NFC North. So I want to thank all of you guys for being a part of this stream, THH Sports, where we talked about the NFC West. And Romeo, tell the people where they can find you.
Find me True Heel Romeo, Twitter and Instagram. I'll be back here Thursday. We will have a Lions fan. We will have a Bears fan. We will have a Vikings fan, Steven Jensen of Fightful, and I'm working on the Packers fans. John or JJ, I don't know if you guys know any Packers fans personally.
The only Packers fans I know, I don't really talk to anymore. So,
and the Packers fan that I know, I can't stand them. So,
and then join me back here Saturday night. We'll do True Heel Heat Sports, UFC watch along. Usman Edwards, come back right here.
And JJ, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
On Instagram, you can find me at TrueHeal_Top Guy JJ, and on True Heel Heat Sports with these fine gentlemen here doing these previews for the rest of the preseason. Can't wait to be back with you guys on Thursday, and on the YouTube wrestling channel on True Heel Heat with SP3 and Miss Chrissy Love. Schedule is going to kind of get rocky again, so I'm going to try to pop in for this 5-year anniversary episode. I promise next episode there will be no fucking smoke alarm that is hovering above my head for the entire episode. I'm just in an alternate location tonight because I did not want to wake a certain someone up.
From parts unknown.
Yeah, from parts unknown. And Danny, do you have any social media you'd like to plug at this point?
Yeah, at Danny Lewis AZ. That's my Instagram and my Twitter. Pretty much any social media that I'm on. I'm more active on Instagram, especially because I travel for a living. So I put a lot of my. So if you're into travel photos and all that, and living vicariously through me, you can follow me on Instagram. Otherwise, I am on Twitter, and it's mostly to rant at the White Sox. So I don't really use Twitter very often, but when I do, it's usually when I'm yelling at my sports teams. Or I'm just hyping up.
Fire
the
Tony!
Fire Tony
Fire
is my
Cliff!
Fire Tony is my
wait, hold on. Don't forget Fire Nagy as well.
Fire Nagy! Fire them all.
And guys,
Yeah.
you can catch me here on THH Sports with my guys talking about football. We'll be continuing our preseason coverage, like I said, on Thursday. And you can also catch me on the True Heel main channel on Dark Power, covering AEW Dark, Elevation, and NWA Power, and on Rampage Wrap Up with Josh, True Draw Josh, as we break down everything that happens on AEW Rampage. So for myself, for Jeremy Schuler, for True Heel Romeo, for Top Guy JJ, for Steve Salvage, and for Danny Lewis, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode, or the 2 episodes for this week covering the NFC West. And until next time, we will catch you guys later.